Alex leaned back in his chair and sighed. The cafe was quiet, the soft hum of the coffee machine filling the background. He usually avoided crowded places, preferring calm spots where he could think. Despite being a billionaire, Alex liked simple things: warm coffee, small tables, and a peaceful corner where he could watch life quietly. He was focused on a tablet in front of him, reviewing reports and plans for his latest business venture. But then, something made him look up. His heart skipped a beat. Across the room, moving quickly between tables, was a familiar face. It was Maya. His high school crush. His breath caught in his chest as he studied her carefully. Time had changed her slightly, but her eyes, the same gentle brown eyes he had remembered, still held that warmth that made his stomach twist in old, familiar ways. Maya was serving customers with a polite smile, carrying trays of food and drinks. She moved gracefully, despite the rush. There was a quiet strength in her that Alex had always admired but never had the courage to acknowledge in high school. She looked happy doing her work, yet there was a hint of tiredness behind her smile, as if life had asked a lot from her. Alex hesitated. Should he approach her? He wondered if she would even remember him after all these years. He thought about the small, awkward moments they had shared in high school, the times he wanted to talk to her but didn't know how, the time she had smiled at him in the library, and he had looked away, too shy to respond. Memories of those moments hit him with a sudden wave of nostalgia. He finally stood up. His heart was racing, but he felt that he could not just sit there. He had to see her, talk to her, even if it was just for a moment. He walked slowly toward her, noticing how she balanced the trays, how she laughed softly with a customer, how she worked hard without complaint. Each small detail reminded him why he had admired her in the first place. Maya noticed him approaching and froze for a brief second. Recognition sparked in her eyes. "Alex? Is that really you?" she asked, her voice soft, but filled with surprise. Her hand trembled slightly as she adjusted a tray. "Yes, it's me," Alex said with a small smile. "I didn't expect to see you here." Maya laughed, a little embarrassed. "Life has a strange way of surprising us, right?" she said. "I work here to make a living. It's not glamorous, but it keeps me going." Alex pulled out a chair and gestured for her to take a break. "Sit with me for a moment," he said gently. I just wanted to say hi." Maya hesitated, glancing around at the other customers and her manager. But something in Alex's calm presence made her nod. She set the tray down and walked over to the small table he had cleared. "You've changed," Alex said honestly, studying her face. "But, in a good way. You look amazing." Maya felt heat rise to her cheeks. She had always been shy around Alex, and now, years later, his words still made her nervous. "Thank you, you too," she said, smiling. "I heard about your company doing really big things. Congratulations." Alex smiled warmly. "Thanks. But it's funny, seeing you here makes me feel like nothing has really changed at all. You still have the same presence, the same energy. I remember how kind you were in high school. I've never forgotten that." Maya's eyes softened. No one had said something like that to her in a long time. People often judged her by her job, or by her life struggles, but Alex remembered her for who she truly was. For a moment, they sat in silence, just looking at each other. It felt like no years had passed, like the world had paused around them. The bell above the cafe door rang occasionally, but Alex and Maya barely noticed. Each small detail, the smell of coffee, the chatter of customers, the sunlight spilling through the windows, seemed to fade as they focused on each other. Alex felt a rush of emotions he hadn't expected. Nostalgia, admiration, curiosity, and something deeper, something that made him want to stay and not let her go again. He wanted to know how life had treated her, what challenges she had faced, and what dreams she still carried in her heart. Maya, too, felt a flutter she hadn't felt in years. Seeing Alex again, realizing he remembered her, and that he cared enough to approach her, it was overwhelming, but in a good way. She felt hope rising slowly, a gentle reminder that life could still hold unexpected surprises. Do you want to sit and talk for a while?" Alex asked, a little hesitant, not wanting to pressure her. Maya nodded, smiling shyly. "Yes. I'd like that." And so, two people who had once been strangers in high school, but had quietly admired each other from afar, began to reconnect. The past and present blended in that quiet cafe, and neither of them knew that this small, chance encounter was about to change their lives forever. Alex and Maya sat across from each other at the small wooden table, the cafe's warm light casting a soft glow on their faces. The clinking of cups and quiet chatter around them seemed distant, as if the world had shrunk to just the two of them. "I can't believe it's really you," Maya said again, shaking her head slightly. She smiled, but there was a hint of nervousness in her eyes. "I never thought I'd see you here, not after all these years." Alex smiled warmly. "I know. Life has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it?" He paused, watching her closely. "You look happy. And strong. You've grown into someone amazing." Maya's cheeks warmed, and she glanced down at her hands. She wasn't used to such direct compliments, especially from someone who had meant so much to her in high school. "Thank you, that means a lot," she murmured. "But life, it's not always easy. Sometimes it feels like you work so hard and nothing changes." Alex leaned forward slightly, his expression gentle. "I get that. Life can be hard. But seeing you now, I can tell you're someone who never gives up. You've kept moving forward, even when it was tough. That's something special, Maya." She looked up at him, a little surprised. Nobody had ever seen that side of her, the side she worked so hard to hide from the world. People often judged her for the small cafe job, for the quiet life she led. But Alex, he remembered her. He remembered the kind, determined girl she had been, the one who always helped others without thinking of herself. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The pause was comfortable, filled with memories and unspoken words. Alex finally broke the silence. "Do you ever think about high school?" he asked softly. "About the things we wanted, the dreams we had?" Maya smiled, a little sadly. "All the time. I had big dreams, but life, it has a way of changing your plans. I had to focus on survival, on making ends meet. Some dreams had to wait, maybe forever." Alex reached across the table, placing his hand lightly over hers. It was a small gesture, but it carried warmth and reassurance. "Maybe some dreams don't have to end," he said gently. "Maybe they just wait for the right time. I think this might be that time." Maya's eyes widened slightly, and she felt her heart beat faster. The words were simple, but they made her feel seen, understood. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to imagine that life could change, that something good could happen to her, and that it could start now. A waiter passed by with a tray of drinks, and Maya instinctively took it from him, but Alex quickly waved him off. "Let me help you," he said with a smile, lifting the tray gently. Maya felt a mixture of surprise and amusement. The billionaire was being kind, not showing off, just helping. "Alex, you don't have to," she said softly, shaking her head. "I know," he replied. "I want to. You've worked hard, Maya. You deserve it." For the first time in years, Maya felt a genuine sense of being appreciated, not for what she had, not for what she looked like, but for who she was. She felt a warmth in her chest that she hadn't felt in a long time. They talked for what felt like hours, though in reality it was only a few minutes. They shared stories of their lives since high school, funny moments, difficult days, small victories. Alex told her about the challenges of building his business, about mistakes he had made and lessons he had learned. Maya spoke about the long hours at the cafe, the struggles of living independently, and the small joys she still found in life. "You've done so much," Alex said, leaning back in his chair. "I can't imagine how hard it must have been. But I'm proud of you. Really." Maya felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. I I don't hear that often," she admitted quietly. "People usually just expect things from me. Rarely do they notice what I've done." Alex smiled softly. "Well, I notice. And I've always remembered you. You were special in high school, Maya. And seeing you now, you're even stronger than I remembered." For a moment, they just looked at each other, sharing a quiet understanding. The years apart, the struggles, and the changes, they all seemed to fade in that small cafe. It was as if they had stepped back into a place where only memories and possibilities existed. Finally, Alex stood, gently pulling out his wallet. "I want to do something," he said quietly. "It's just a small gesture, but you deserve it." Maya looked confused as he handed him a generous amount to leave as a tip. "Alex, this is too much," she said, shaking her head. "Maybe," he said, smiling, "but it's not about the money. It's about reminding you that hard work matters, and that people notice. You matter." Maya looked at him, speechless. For the first time in a long time, she felt hope. Something inside her shifted. She realized that this chance encounter, unexpected as it was, could be the beginning of something new, not just a meeting of old friends, but a possibility for a future she hadn't imagined. As Alex walked out of the cafe, Maya watched him go, holding the tip in her hand. She felt a strange mix of excitement and fear. Life had brought him back into her world, and somehow, she knew things were about to change forever. Alex walked out of the cafe, but his thoughts stayed behind. He couldn't stop thinking about Maya, the way she smiled, the strength she carried despite life's challenges, and the quiet grace with which she moved through the world. Something inside him told him that reconnecting with her was not just a coincidence. Meanwhile, Maya stood behind the counter, still holding the tip Alex had left. It was far more than anyone would normally leave, and she couldn't believe it. She stared at it, her fingers trembling slightly. She had worked hard for every coin she earned, and this gesture made her feel recognized in a way she hadn't felt in years. Tears threatened to spill, but she held them back. She placed the money carefully in the register, telling herself she would think of it as more than just cash. It was a symbol. A symbol that someone still believed in her, still remembered her, and still cared enough to show it. The next day, Maya found herself thinking about Alex constantly. She replayed their conversation in her mind, the warmth in his eyes, the sincerity in his words. It was unusual for her to feel so connected to someone again. Life had been hard, and most people only saw her for what she did, not who she was. But Alex, he had seen her heart, her effort, and even the dreams she had tucked away. For Alex, the day after meeting Maya was no different. He continued with his busy schedule, meetings and calls filling every hour. Yet, every moment he had a quiet pause, his thoughts wandered back to her. He remembered the way she laughed, the sparkle in her eyes when she realized he remembered her, and the strength she had shown even in her quiet moments. That evening, he called the cafe. When Maya answered, she was surprised to hear his voice. "Hi, Maya," Alex said warmly. "I hope I'm not disturbing you." Maya shook her head, smiling. "No, it's okay. I'm glad you called. I just wanted to say thank you for yesterday," Alex said. "Not for the coffee or anything, but for reminding me what it feels like to connect with someone who truly matters. You've done that for me, Maya." Maya felt her heart warm. "Alex, you've reminded me that life can be more than just work and struggles," she said softly. "Sometimes, I forget that people notice, that people care." Alex smiled through the phone. "I know. And I want to help you remember it more often. How about this? I want to take you out, not in a fancy way, just a small lunch or dinner. No pressure. Just to talk, laugh, and enjoy a break from everything." Maya hesitated. She wasn't used to such attention, especially from someone like Alex. But something in her heart told her to trust him. "Okay," she said finally. I. I'd like that." A few days later, Alex picked her up in a simple, clean car. He didn't want to overwhelm her with luxury. The goal wasn't to impress her with wealth, it was to make her feel comfortable, valued, and seen. They went to a quiet restaurant, a place with soft lighting, calm music, and no distractions. During the meal, they laughed about high school memories, funny incidents, awkward moments, and teachers they had once admired or dreaded. For the first time in years, Maya felt lighthearted. She realized how much she had missed simple conversations, genuine laughter, and being around someone who truly understood her. After lunch, Alex suggested a small walk through a nearby park. The sun was warm, birds were singing, and a gentle breeze brushed past them. Maya felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. "You know," Alex said quietly, looking at her, "I've always admired you. Even in high school, I noticed how kind and strong you were. I just never had the courage to tell you." Maya's eyes softened. I I noticed you too," she admitted. "I just didn't think someone like you would ever see me as more than a quiet classmate." Alex smiled gently. "People can surprise you," he said. "And sometimes, life gives second chances. I think, maybe this is ours." Maya looked at him, her heart beating faster. She had always dreamed of a life where someone would see her for who she really was, beyond her struggles, beyond her job, beyond the surface. And now, Alex was offering exactly that: not wealth, not status, but genuine care, attention, and friendship. As they continued walking, Maya realized that this small gesture of kindness, the lunch, the conversation, the quiet attention, was more powerful than anything else in the world. It reminded her that even after hardship, life could bring warmth, hope, and connection. And for Alex, each moment spent with Maya reminded him that some things in life were worth far more than money, fame, or power. The simplest gestures, listening, caring, sharing, could change a life. And he was determined to show Maya that she deserved every bit of that happiness. Over the next few weeks, Alex and Maya continued to meet. Their lunches and walks became a regular part of their routine. Each time they met, Maya felt lighter, as if the weight of her struggles had eased just a little. Alex's presence reminded her of something she had almost forgotten: hope. They talked about everything. Small things first: the weather, favorite books, and memories from high school. Then the conversation slowly became deeper, more personal. Maya shared her dreams, the ones she had put aside when life demanded practicality. She told Alex about the long hours at the cafe, the nights she had stayed late just to make sure bills were paid, and the loneliness that sometimes came with living alone. Alex listened carefully, never interrupting, never judging. He asked questions gently, showing genuine interest. "You've been through so much," he said one afternoon as they walked through a quiet park, "but you never gave up. That takes courage, Maya." Maya looked down at her hands, embarrassed. "I don't feel brave," she said softly. "Most days, I just feel tired." "Bravery doesn't always mean doing big things," Alex replied. "Sometimes it's just surviving, continuing, and keeping your heart open. That's more than many people can do. You've done it every day." Hearing this, Maya felt a warmth spread in her chest. For so long, she had felt invisible, as if no one noticed her effort. But Alex saw her. He had always remembered her, even after years apart. He didn't just see her appearance or her job, he saw her strength, her kindness, her heart. One evening, Alex invited Maya to a small charity event he was hosting. "It's nothing formal," he said when he called her. "Just a chance to meet some people and see what I do. You don't have to dress fancy. I just want you to come." Maya hesitated. She wasn't used to attending such events. People like Alex usually mingled with other wealthy or influential people, and she feared she might feel out of place. But something inside her told her to trust him. She agreed, hoping the evening would be just a chance to spend time together and learn something new. When the night arrived, Maya felt nervous as she entered the event hall. It was filled with soft music, warm lights, and people talking in quiet groups. She felt small in the crowd, unsure how to fit in. Alex noticed her hesitation immediately. "You don't have to worry about anything," he said, taking her hand gently. "Just be yourself. That's enough for me." Maya smiled, feeling comforted. It was rare for someone to accept her completely, without judgment. She realized that with Alex, she could be herself, simple, honest, and real. Throughout the evening, Alex introduced her to a few people, but he made sure she never felt pressured. They shared quiet conversations in corners, laughing softly, and Maya found herself enjoying the atmosphere more than she expected. For the first time in years, she felt included, appreciated, and respected. Later, they stepped out onto a balcony, overlooking the city lights. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the cool night air on her face. "I didn't know life could feel like this," she admitted quietly. Lighter. Like I can actually breathe." Alex looked at her, smiling. "Life can surprise you," he said softly. "Sometimes, it takes someone to remind you of what you've always had inside. You've always been strong, Maya. You just needed a little reminder." Maya's eyes glistened. "Thank you," she whispered. I think I forgot how it felt to believe in myself." Alex reached out and held her hand again. "Don't forget it again," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "I want to help you remember that every day." That night, as they left the event, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope for the future. She realized that reconnecting with Alex was more than a reunion of old classmates. It was a chance to rediscover herself, to see that life could hold happiness, kindness, and new opportunities. Alex, on his part, felt a growing admiration for Maya. It wasn't just about her beauty or her past. It was her resilience, her heart, and her willingness to keep moving forward despite hardships. He wanted to support her, not as a billionaire giving gifts, but as a friend, as someone who truly cared about her happiness. As they walked back to their cars, hand in hand, Maya whispered softly, "I'm glad you found me." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "No," he said gently, "I think I've been waiting all these years to find you again." In that quiet moment, they both knew that their friendship was changing into something deeper. Something real. Something that could last, no matter the challenges ahead. A few weeks had passed since Maya attended the charity event with Alex. Life at the cafe continued as usual, but Maya felt a new sense of confidence. The world didn't seem quite so heavy anymore. She had someone who noticed her, someone who reminded her that she mattered. Alex, on the other hand, kept busy with his business ventures, but he always found time for Maya. Whether it was a phone call to check on her, a small message to make her smile, or an invitation to a quiet dinner, he showed her that he cared. One afternoon, Alex invited Maya to a small gathering at his home. It wasn't a formal party, just a few close friends and colleagues he trusted. "I want you to meet some people who matter to me," he explained over the phone. "No pressure, just a small evening together." Maya felt nervous. She had never been to a place like this before. She worried that people would judge her for her simple background or her modest job at the cafe. But Alex reassured her. "Just be yourself," he said. "That's enough. You're enough." When Maya arrived, she felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The house was warm and welcoming, filled with soft music and laughter. Alex introduced her to his friends gently, making sure she felt included. "This is Maya," he said with pride in his voice. "She's someone special I've known for a long time." Maya smiled shyly, trying to keep her nerves calm. As the evening progressed, she realized that Alex's friends were kind and welcoming. They didn't judge her or ask uncomfortable questions. They simply listened when she shared her thoughts, laughed at her jokes, and treated her like one of them. Despite the comfort, a part of Maya couldn't help but think about her past. She remembered high school, the small disappointments, and the struggles she had faced since then. She thought about the nights she had cried in silence, the bills she had worried about, and the dreams she had put aside. She wondered if Alex could truly understand what it had been like for her. Noticing her quiet demeanor, Alex gently took her hand. "You don't have to worry," he said softly. "I see you, Maya. I see everything you've been through, and I admire your strength. You've faced so much, and yet here you are, still moving forward." Maya's eyes filled with tears. "It's hard sometimes," she whispered. "Sometimes I feel like I'm not enough, like life is too heavy for me to carry alone." Alex held her hand tightly. "You're not alone anymore," he said firmly. "I'm here. I've always remembered you, and I want to help you see how special you are. Not because of what you have, but because of who you are." Maya felt a rush of emotion. She realized that she had spent so many years carrying the weight of life by herself, thinking that no one could understand. But Alex didn't just understand, he genuinely cared. For the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to hope. As the evening continued, Alex suggested a small walk outside in the garden. The night air was cool and refreshing, and the stars sparkled above them. They walked quietly, enjoying the calm, until Alex spoke again. "You know, Maya," he said softly, "life isn't always fair. But sometimes, the people we meet along the way remind us that we're stronger than we think. You're stronger than you realize." Maya looked at him, her heart swelling. "You really mean that?" she asked quietly. "Every word," Alex replied. "And I want to be here to remind you whenever you forget. Life can be hard, but it doesn't have to be lonely. You don't have to face it alone." Maya felt tears slide down her cheeks. She had never felt such comfort, such understanding. Alex wasn't offering empty words or pity. He was offering friendship, care, and trust, the kind that could change a life. In that quiet garden, under the stars, Maya realized that the past didn't define her. Her struggles, her fears, and her doubts were part of her story, but they didn't have to be the whole story. With Alex by her side, she could start a new chapter, one filled with hope, support, and possibilities. Alex squeezed her hand gently. "You've always been remarkable, Maya. And now, it's time for the world to see it too." Maya smiled through her tears, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. For the first time, she believed that life could be different, brighter, and full of hope. And she knew that Alex wasn't just a person from her past, he was a person who would help her embrace the future, together. After weeks of spending time together, Alex and Maya's bond had grown stronger. Their meetings, once simple lunches and walks, now included small trips to local galleries, charity events, and quiet evenings at Alex's home. Through each moment, Maya felt more confident, more seen, and more hopeful about the future. One afternoon, as they walked through a nearby park, Alex mentioned something quietly. "I think people will notice us soon," he said, looking at Maya. Not because we're trying to be in the spotlight, but because your story, it's special. People can see it. Maya laughed softly, shaking her head. I don't want attention. I'm not used to it. I just like being with you. That's enough for me. Alex smiled warmly. I know. And that's what matters most. But sometimes, the world takes notice when something genuine exists. That's not a bad thing. It wasn't long before the media caught wind of the story. Photos from the charity event, combined with subtle posts on social media, began to circulate. Headlines soon appeared: Billionaire reconnects with high school crush, changes her life. Maya was startled when she first saw it. She hadn't expected such attention. Her quiet life at the cafe now seemed exposed to the world. She worried about what people might think. Alex, maybe this is too much, she said, frowning. I'm not used to all this attention. Alex gently took her hand. Don't worry, he said calmly. They'll see what I see. They'll see how strong, kind, and remarkable you are. And if some people don't understand, that's their problem. We know the truth, Maya. That's what matters. Slowly, Maya realized he was right. For the first time, she felt proud of her journey. Every long shift at the cafe, every moment she had worked hard and persevered, was finally being recognized not by strangers, but in a way that reflected her strength and character. As the news spread, something unexpected happened. People started reaching out to Maya with kind messages, support, and encouragement. Some offered new job opportunities, invitations to speak at events, or chances to share her story with a wider audience. Maya was overwhelmed, but it was not a negative feeling. She felt hope, possibility, and a sense that her hard work had value beyond what she had imagined. Alex stayed by her side through it all. He never let the attention distract from the real connection they shared. This isn't about fame, he reminded her one evening as they walked through the city streets, the lights reflecting in their eyes. It's about showing you how much you're appreciated, respected, and seen. That's why I wanted to reconnect. Maya nodded, feeling a warmth in her heart. She had spent so long feeling unnoticed, like the world had ignored her struggles and effort. But now, with Alex's support, she finally felt visible, not for her appearance, her job, or even the money around her, but for who she truly was. During the following weeks, their story became an inspiration for many. People admired the simplicity and sincerity of their relationship. It wasn't about wealth or status, it was about kindness, recognition, and genuine care. Maya was invited to small interviews, not as a celebrity, but as someone whose perseverance and determination could inspire others. Through it all, Maya noticed a change within herself. She began to believe in her abilities again. She explored new opportunities, pursued skills she had always wanted to develop, and allowed herself to dream bigger than she had in years. Alex supported her every step of the way, not with pressure, but with encouragement and gentle guidance. One evening, as they watched the sunset from a quiet rooftop, Maya turned to Alex. I can't believe how much has changed in such a short time, she said softly. Not because of money, or fame, or attention, but because of you. You reminded me that life can be better, and that I can be better too. Alex smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. No, Maya. You've always been amazing. I just reminded you. And now, the world is starting to see it too. That's all. Maya leaned into him, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. The future was no longer frightening or uncertain. It was full of possibility, connection, and hope. She realized that what truly mattered wasn't the headlines, the attention, or the fame. It was the trust, care, and understanding they shared. As night fell and the city lights glimmered around them, Maya understood something important. Her life had changed not because of luck, or wealth, or chance. It had changed because someone had seen her, believed in her, and reminded her of her worth. And in that quiet rooftop moment, hand in hand with Alex, she knew that no matter what the world said, she would never forget it. Months had passed since Alex first saw Maya at the cafe. Their friendship had grown into something deeper, a bond built on trust, care, and shared understanding. Life had begun to feel lighter for Maya, and for Alex, every moment with her reminded him why he had returned to her life. One evening, Alex invited Maya to a small charity gala he was hosting. It was a bright, welcoming event, filled with people who believed in helping others. Maya had attended before, but this time felt different. She walked beside Alex, her confidence stronger, her smile genuine. She no longer felt out of place. "You look beautiful tonight," Alex whispered, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Maya blushed slightly, feeling warmth spread in her chest. "Thank you, but really, I'm nervous," she admitted. "All these people. I don't know if I belong here." Alex took her hand gently. "You do belong, Maya. You've worked hard, stayed true to yourself, and inspired so many people already. You belong here more than anyone else." Maya's eyes softened. She remembered the shy, uncertain girl she had been months ago, the girl who had doubted herself, who had felt invisible. Now, with Alex by her side, she felt seen, valued, and capable. During the gala, Maya spoke briefly to the audience about perseverance, hope, and the power of kindness. Her voice was steady, her words heartfelt. As she spoke, she realized something: life could be more than just surviving. It could be about inspiring others, helping people, and embracing the opportunities that came along. When she finished, the audience applauded warmly. Alex clapped the loudest, pride shining in his eyes. "See," he said quietly as they walked away. "I told you you belong. You've always belonged." After the gala, they walked through a quiet garden nearby, the soft glow of lanterns surrounding them. Maya looked at Alex, feeling a mix of gratitude, admiration, and something deeper, something she had never felt before. "Alex," she began softly, "I never imagined life could feel like this. Not just because of what's happening, but because of you. You reminded me of my worth, my strength, and that I can dream again." Alex smiled warmly. "You don't need me to remind you anymore, Maya," he said gently. "You've always had it inside. I just helped you see it. And I'll keep helping, as long as you let me." Maya reached out and took his hand. "I want that," she whispered. "I want to face the future with someone I trust. With someone who believes in me." Alex's heart swelled. "Then we'll face it together," he said softly. "No matter what comes, we'll handle it side by side." As the weeks passed, Maya's life continued to change, but in the best way possible. She began taking small steps toward the dreams she had once set aside. Alex encouraged her to attend courses she had always wanted, to explore opportunities beyond the cafe, and to believe in her own abilities. But through it all, they remained grounded. Their bond was not about wealth, status, or public attention. It was about trust, care, and genuine connection. Alex never tried to overshadow Maya, he only wanted to support her, to help her see herself as he had always seen her, strong, kind, and remarkable. One quiet evening, they returned to the cafe where it all began. Maya walked through the familiar space, remembering the first moment Alex had approached her. The memories brought a gentle smile to her face. She glanced at Alex, who stood beside her quietly, watching her with admiration. "I can't believe how far I've come," Maya said softly. "And it all started here, with a simple gesture, a small act of kindness." Alex took her hand and squeezed it gently. "It wasn't just me," he said. "It was you, too. You never gave up. You kept moving forward, even when life was hard. That's what brought you here." Maya's eyes glistened. "And now, "The future feels possible," she whispered. Alex smiled, his heart full. "Yes, Maya. The future is yours. And we'll face it together." They stepped outside, the evening air cool and refreshing. The sky was filled with stars, and for the first time in a long time, Maya felt completely at peace. She knew life would have challenges ahead, but she also knew that she no longer had to face them alone. Hand in hand, Alex and Maya walked forward, leaving the past behind and stepping into a new beginning. A beginning filled with hope, trust, and the quiet joy of knowing that some connections are meant to last a lifetime. In the months and years that followed, their story became an inspiration to many. Not because of wealth or fame, but because it was a story of recognition, kindness, and the power of seeing someone for who they truly are. And for Alex and Maya, the headlines didn't matter. What mattered was the bond they had built, the lives they had touched, and the promise of a future they would share together, side by side, hearts full of hope,